I've never seen a diamond in the flesh.
Sir, start na?
Sige.
Despite the urbanization and modernization the Philippines is going through, poverty is still rampant. How do you think the government should respond to the rising frustration of the Filipino people due to poverty?
Actually, urbanization is not necessarily a trend towards urbanization. Does not really help in terms of the poverty alleviation. Dahil pag yung mga nasa probinsya, akala nila kung walang trabaho sa probinsya, pupunta sila sa city, magkakaroon ng trabaho. Pero that's not necessarily the case. Ang problema kasi, marami tayong naririnig na unang-una, sa 2013, ang naging remittances ng ating OFW is $22 billion. I think we're number 3 na yata sa buong mundo in terms of overseas workers remittances. So, umaasa na lang tayo doon. Ang problema, I think, is that, and then we hear also about the continuing growth, na napakataas ng growth rate natin. But the poverty levels continue to increase, the unemployment levels continue to increase. They are connected. Kung walang trabaho, walang pera, walang pambili ng pagkain, walang pambili ng shelter, clothes, education, etc. So, para sa akin, ang pagkukulang ng ating mga polisiya ay yung sa infrastructure development. Dahil kulang na tayo sa maraming bagay. Pag pinag-usapan natin, kadalasan pag napapag-usapan ng infrastructure, ang iniisip ng tao, kalsada, tulay. But you also have to think about things like communications, you have to think about things like power generation, balitang-balita yung mga brownout sa Mindanao. But that's not news. That has been going on for close to 10 years already, and we haven't done anything about it. Marami tayong naririnig ng mga project na gagawin daw, pero hanggang ngayon wala pa tayong nakikita, and that is a very major problem. The other, bukod sa infrastructure development, we also have to look into foreign direct investment. Dapat aakitin natin yung ating mga kaibigan na foreign investor na gustong pumasok sa Pilipinas. At sinasabi nila na may mga problema sa struktura ng financial structure ng ekonomiya natin. At kailangan natin ayusin yun. That one of those things is that, again, balik na naman tayo doon sa power. Dahil kailangan yung power na sabi na masyadong mahal, masyadong unreliable. Hindi po pwede yung para sa malalaking planta, yung masyadong mataas ang power, masyadong at saka nagkaka-brown out. Kasi kung gano'n na sitwasyon sa Pilipinas, doon na lang kami sa Thailand, doon na lang kami sa Korea, doon na lang kami sa Indonesia, imbis na dito sa Pilipinas. Kaya nawawala sa atin yung foreign direct investment. At yung foreign direct investment, ang pinag-uusapan dito, hindi lamang yung mga speculative investment. Dahil mataas yung stock market, papasok sila ng pera, pag medyo mag-dip ng konti, profit taking sila, lalabas nuli yung pera. That doesn't really help the economy. What needs to be yung capital investment, nagtatayo ng planta, nag-i-invest sa call center, nag-i-invest sa bagong industriya. Yun ang mga dapat natin na i-encourage. Yun ang ating pagkukulang. So those are the things that I think, very simple, foreign direct investment, we have to make the Philippine economy and financial system attractive to foreign investors, for capital investments. Number 2, para naman sa ating mga local na businesses, both big and small, kailangan yung infrastructure development. Isa sa malaking kakulangan in terms of infrastructure development, we always talk again about roads and bridges. We don't talk about telecom. We don't talk about the internet. We are so not connected. Korea is the most connected country in the world. Why don't we do the same as them? Why can we not do the same? And it's becoming more and more important because I think as of 4 or 5 years ago, there was more business conducted on the internet than on face-to-face. So, ganun na ka-importante ang internet. And in terms of well, in terms of the other social issues of the internet, it's very important that yung connectivity natin and the bandwidth that's available to people is improved. So malaking bagay yun. So those are the things that we have to be talking about: infrastructure development and changing or making our financial system more attractive to investors.
Next.
Okay.
Sir, have you proposed any bill that will respond to these problems?
Well, it's not legislation, hindi legislation ang magbabago niyan. It has to be government policy. Government policy has to change. The government has to start looking into big programs that are directed at these problems, the problems of infrastructure. Our infrastructure development, the increases have been very, very small. We hear, marami tayong naririnig sa gobyerno, marami silang pera, marami silang koleksyon. Pero hindi nila nagagamit para magtayo ng mga bagong infrastructure, yung ating production ng electricity, same thing. And then, the policy towards the financial institutions, so that, again, balik na naman tayo doon sa the foreign direct investment. It's a question of policy, not legislation.
Sir, what are your future plans for a better Philippines?
Well, we just continue the work that we are doing. We have to, I think, try to return to the idea that we are building a nation. That we are, yung nation building, lagi natin naririnig noon yan, hindi na natin naririnig. But there are certain components that are necessary so that the economy, the economic system, the political system, the social system will progress. And those components have to be slowly put into place. Well, more quickly rather than slowly. But those elements have to be put into place. So that is the work that we have, again, before us. There are structural changes that need to be examined and implemented. There are changes in policy, like we just spoke about, that need to be undergone, and those are the things that we are pushing for. At least as a senator, these are the things this is the direction that I think will be the most advantageous to the Philippines.
So, who are the people that are responsible for making those government policies?
I'm sorry?
Who are the people that are responsible for making those government
The executive. The executive, the president and his alter egos, the departments, etc., etc. All the agencies of the executive create those policies. Sila nagde-decide. Sa agrikultura, ito yung gagawin natin. Sa trade, ito yung gagawin natin. Sa foreign policy, ito yung gagawin natin. So the different sectors are decided. Siyempre magre-recommenda yung mga department secretary sa Pangulo, at yung Pangulo magsasabi, okay, ito maganda ito dito tayo gagawa, ito yung plano. So we need to have a vision of where we are trying to be. We would like to be in 5, in 10, in 15 years. And we have to map out a plan to get to that place that we want to be in that time frame. Dahil marami yung masyadong nahihirapan, at yun naman ang aming trabaho, tulungan yung mga naghihirap.
Sir, other than poverty, there are other challenges faced by the government. This includes the pork barrel scam. What can you say about the PDAF, and do you think it should be abolished?
It has been abolished.
Sir.
It has been abolished. The PDAF was ruled unconstitutional by the Supreme Court.
Yes, sir.
So there is no such thing as a PDAF. Ang pork barrel, hindi mo, alam niyo yan, politika yan eh. Pagka, siyempre, yung mga kasama mo sa politika, tutulungan mo para mas matibay ang kanilang sitwasyon dun sa ano. So, pag dyan, may maganda kang project, may magandang programa, dun mo dadalhin. Yes. Ang ginawa ng PDAF ay sinasabi na imbis na mamimili ng mga on a political basis, kailangan lahat pare-pareho. Kaya ang naging naman, which is not a bad idea. But the problem are the abuses. The concept is not problematic. Para sa akin, there's a legal there is a legal, there's a decided case. So according to the Supreme Court, it's unconstitutional. That's their opinion. But I don't think that's where the problem lies. The problem lies in the abuses that were simple lang. Gagawa ng 100 peso na project, may kickback na 20 piso. Illegal yun eh. So that's not a problem. That's a problem of the implementation. That's a problem of the checks and balances, and that's something that I think we're slowly dealing with. That is why, although sinasabi nila wala ng PDAF, meron pa rin allocation.
Yes, sir.
Meron pa rin allocation. Kaya iba sa amin, isa na ako doon, hindi ko na tinanggap yung allocation para wala nang question. Mahirap maging senador. Kine-question ka lagi. Bako naman, may kapig ka dyan. Baka meron kang ano dito. Para wala na yung gusto na yun. Yung iba sa amin, sabi na, sige, huwag na namin, we'll do it some other way. Which is not easy dahil talagang maraming lumalapit yung mga scholar na malapit na magtapos. Bigla na lang mabibitin yung kanilang pag-aaral. Tapos yung mga medical assistants, yung mga gano'n. Yun medyo nakakaawa yun dahil maraming lumalapit pa rin hanggang ngayon. At maliit lang naman ang pangangailangan. They need 10,000 pesos for medicine, maliit na bagay, binubuhay mo yung taong yun.
Yes, sir.
So, we are trying to always find, ngayon, we have to be more imaginative and more creative. Siguro, mas magiging malapit ang tulungan ng legislator at saka ng iba't ibang department. Dahil ang trabaho naman ng senador, hindi lamang yung magsulat ng batas, mag-attend ng session. Siyempre lahat, kahit pa paano, linalapitan kami ng kung sino-sino at humihingi ng tulong in different ways. Okay na sa akin yung sinasabi yung sa public works, yung gano'n na nagkakaproblema talaga, di tanggalin natin lahat yun. Pero yung lang dalawa, yung sa scholars at saka yung sa medical assistance, yun sana mahanapan natin ng bagong paraan para makatulong pa rin kami.
Do you have any questions? Sir, are you receiving the PDAF part of it or?
Hindi, pinatanggal ko na. Sabi ko, well, there's no more PDAF.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
But there is still the allocation.
There is still the allocation.
Yung allocation na yun, yung ibang congressman tinanggap, yung ibang senador ginamit nila. Pero in my case, hindi ko na pinatanggal ko na sa national budget. Yung 200 million allocation ng senador.
Kada senator po yun, 200 million.
200 million.
For agreements.
This year.
Sir, if the PDAF remained, how should it be handled to prevent anomalies?
Like any other government project.
Yes, sir.
Nandyan naman lahat ng mga yung mga reporting sa COA, yung mga checks and balances, yung liquidation, yung inspection na talagang may project, all of those things na that really should have been done before, but we're not done. At dahil nga napasukan ng mga sindikato and ginamit-gamit ng yung ibang legislator, yung ibang agencies of government, dapat lang sundan yung batas. Simple lang naman yan eh. Wala naman silang kailangan gawin bago eh. Sundan lang nila yung batas. Sundan nila yung mga rules and regulations, yung mga accounting procedures na walang problema. Kung walang problema doon sa mga bagay na yan, hindi magkakaproblema yung pinag-.
Sir, regarding the ASEAN goal of becoming a single community, do you think the Philippines is ready for the ASEAN?
No.
Sir, how do you say so?
Because we have done nothing.
Yes.
We have done nothing to prepare for 2016 and the implementation of the AFTA agreement. Wala pa tayong ginagawa. Now, people have to understand that the ASEAN will become one big marketplace. So, yung mga rice producer natin, pag isang oras ako magsasalita na doon on that subject, yung mga rice producer natin, hindi natin sila tinulungan na para yung kanilang production cost ay bumaba, para yung hindi bali ng rice, agricultural. lahat ng agricultural producers natin makikipagkompetensya ngayon sa Thailand, sa Malaysia, Indonesia, lahat. Sa ngayon, pinakamataas pa rin ang ating cost of production ng ating mga ng infrastructure, ng agriculture. Ngayon, ang nakita ko in one of my hearings sa Public Works is that ang budget for the repair and the rehabilitation of irrigation ay tinanggal. Nabawasan. Imbis na 4.3 billion ang binigay, tinanggalan ng 4 billion. Paano ngayon magiging competitive yung ating mga farmer kung yung patubig nila ay dahan-dahan nasisira? Ang irrigation natin, for example, the irrigation systems in 1986 was more extensive than the irrigation system is now, 28 years later, dahil pinabayaan. So that's one. That's just one element. Even our industries, wala tayong ginagawa. Like for example, pinaglagi natin pinagmamalaki one of the export industries, yung semiconductors. Isipin mo, katapat mo ngayon yung Korea. They will sasapawan tayo ng mga yan. And again, their cost of production is lower because the cost of power is lower, the reliability is lower, the systems are better, the financial systems are better. And I'm afraid that this lack of preparation is not only in the public sector, it is also in the private sector. Ang mga negosyante, wala rin silang ginagawa para paghandaan yung AFTA. And malaking problema yan. It will become a very, very difficult problem because it's competition. Hindi na natin pwedeng proteksyonan yung ating mga industriya. Hindi na natin pwedeng proteksyonan ang ating mga farmers. Kailangan maaari natin silang tulungan. In terms of, again, balik tayo, infrastructure. Bigyan natin sila ng magandang infrastruktura para yung cost nila bumaba, para yung efficiency nila tumaas, and that way, we will be able to compete. It's what the other countries in ASEAN have been doing for the last 10-15 years. We're playing catch up. And I'm afraid, as of now, as of today, nag-uusap tayo, I do not know of one thing that the government has done to prepare ourselves for AFTA.
So sir, paano pag sumama na yung Pilipinas sa 2015? Ano pong mangyayari?
Yun na nga. Ang ASEAN magiging one big marketplace.
So tutuloy po yung
Yung-
Philippines?
Yung?
Yung Philippines?
Ano tutuloy?
Mandatory po ba rin?
Oh, signatory tayo.
Yeah.
Agreement.
Ano? Yan na.
Unless may gawin tayo between now and then,
Yes.
yung mga produkto ng ibang bansa, ang papasok dito, yan ang mabibili ng mga alam niyo naman, pag pupunta sa palengke ang nagsha-shopping sa grocery, tinitingnan hindi lamang yung quality, pero yung presyo.
Yes.
At saka hindi kahit mahina yung quality, kung mababa ang presyo, ganun talaga eh. That's the way it works. So, kung ang problema, ang mga produkto na galing sa ibang bansa, mas magandang quality at mas mababang presyo, ay patay tayo. Yan ang mangyayari. Unless we do something and soon. Wala akong problema.
Sir, do you think a charter change is needed to fit this economic integration?
I think so. There are several elements in the constitution that really have to be re-examined. Because simply the conditions have changed now. Isa na lang dun yung globalization. When the present constitution was written, globalization was only a concept. Ngayon hindi na. Internet has a big part to have played in the globalization of our economies. And the issue of trade is something that has become very, very important. That's why foreign policy is important. And maybe kaya yung kahit itong mga belligerent attitude na ginagawa natin tungkol sa iba't ibang bansa, dapat siguro pag-isip-isipan natin yan. Dahil we need to trade. The Philippines has no product. Dati sugar, pero ngayon hindi na. Wala tayong produkto.
Yes.
Dati copper. Pero hindi na tayo ang nagbibigay ng presyo dahil napakalaki natin sa world market. We have no product that is so dominant in any market that we are price givers. We are what they call price takers. And that's why we have to trade. Dahil hindi naman natin pwedeng cornerin yung isang market, tapos lahat ng parang oil. Halimbawa, yung oil, kung tayo o kasama tayo sa OPEC, tayo nagdidikta ng presyo ng langis. Pero wala tayong ganun eh. So, we have to be, so trade is still going to be key.
Sir, dati po ba nung panahon ni Ferdinand Marcos ay export tayo ng sugar?
Yun ang pinakamalaking dollar earner natin. Asukal. Ang kompetensya natin, Cuba.
Yes, sir.
Pero Cuba was always the price giver in terms of the world sugar market. Although marami tayong maraming lumaki ang industriya ng asukal nung panahon na yon. The problem is that we are eating less and less sugar in the world. Dahil health reasons or whatever it is. So then the market has opened up also. So again, competition has become more aggressive.
Your father is known to have done greater things for our country than any other presidents combined. What can you say about the ignorance of this generation about his legacy, and how can it change the wrong perception of the people about him?
Well, we shouldn't indulge in revisionism. Na binabago natin yung kasaysayan ng ating bansa. At we should just deal with facts rather than propaganda. Now, you're saying that what do we do about the ignorance of this generation?
Yes.
I will have to say that this generation recognizes propaganda for what it is.
Yes.
The very fact na tinatanong mo sa akin yan, ibig sabihin, na nakikita niyo, propaganda yan eh, hindi naman lahat yung totoo. Pang-politika din yan eh. So, kasama sa politika yan. So, and there's that very famous phrase that the victor writes the history. And that's what has happened. The political victors, the government, my father's government fell in 1986. Those who took his place are rewriting the history to suit their political agenda. So, the history of the Philippines in the period of the 70s, of the 80s, 90s, 2000 plus will be written not by political operators or politicians. It will be written by historians who will study the facts and the figures. What we, in my family, what we are continuing to do is to put together and collate all of those facts and figures so that when the time comes for the examination of what actually happened, then those facts and figures will be available for people to assess objectively.
Yes, sir. Sir, we all know that the media is limiting the facts behind the good administration of your father. What else can you add?
Well, it's to their purpose. Ganun, as I said, it's propaganda. But alam nyo, dito especially in political life, there are no secrets.
Yes,
Hindi mo pwedeng itago yung katotohanan. It's just a question of how long it takes for those truths to come out. Will it take 1 day to come out, 1 week? In our case, how many years will it take to come out? But dahan-dahan talaga lumalabas. At nakikita natin, again, when you looked at facts and figures na not embellished by any political agenda, by any propaganda to serve a political agenda, when you look at the facts and figures, then people can assess for themselves what was good, what was not great, what was bad, what can be changed, what was good before is not good anymore now. But you have to have a realistic, factual, objective basis for making those assessments. Hindi pwede yung haka-haka lang, yung kwento ni ganito. Pero may interest yung mga yan eh. Yung walang interest, yung profesor sa UP na walang ka-interest, kundi talaga yun lang, mga profesor ninyo gusto lang pag-aralan, ano ba talagang nangyari dito? Ano bang pwedeng ma-improve? Ano bang pagkakamali? Ano bang hindi na dapat ulitin? Ano yung dapat ulitin dahil maganda? those hanggat magawa natin yun, hindi tayo aasenso dahil pinagbabasihan natin, hindi pa tama eh. So kailangan tama ang pagbabasihan ng mga desisyon natin.
Sir, are there any events during the martial law that the people didn't know?
Like what? Ano iniisip nyo? Wala naman. I mean, everything was... maybe people don't understand how close we came to losing parts of the Philippines in the late 70s. The secessionist movement in Mindanao was grave. Malubha ang sitwasyon. And it was not something that was covered up, but because nangyayari sa malayo sa Mindanao, so yung tao hindi masyadong nalalaman. But it was a very difficult situation. That's why we entered into the Tripoli Agreement with Libya. Dahil sila ang nagsusponsor ng secessionist movement sa Mindanao. And that was the first step na maayos yung problema. So maybe most people don't realize how desperate and how serious the situation was in terms of the secessionist movement. What else na hindi alam? Kasi lahat ng programa ng government, pang grassroots eh, so kailangan ikakanan nyo talaga. Like there's the new agricultural policy, Sagana 99, there's this new policy on housing. We have to tell everyone para hindi mo ma-implement kung hindi alam ng tao yung nangyayari, kung ano naging bagong policy of government. What events happened in martial law that people don't know about? A lot of the infrastructure development that took place, people don't know about. People still don't know that we have submarine cables sa dagat for power to the different islands. People don't know about that, and nothing like that has been done since. Maraming mga ganun na, which is just the quiet work, the quiet work of government. Again, yung pinag-uusapan na nation building, these are the elements that you have to put together para maging masigla ang ating ekonomiya, para naman safe ang Pilipinas at respetado tayo ng mundo.
Sir, do you have any plans on running for the presidential position this 2016 election?
Ako, wala akong pinaplano, but maraming tao nagpaplano para sa akin. Kaya lagi natatanong lagi ako natatanong tungkol dyan. I think ang sagot ko dyan, for example, lahat naman siguro, like kahit sino, gustong umasenso dun sa kanyang want to be successful in their career, in their line of work, etc. If for a politician, the most successful you can be is to be president.
Yes.
So every mayor, every governor, every even barangay captain, iniisip mo maganda siguro maging presidente. So there's always that element. But in terms of practical considerations, lagi ko nga sinasabi, paalala sa inyo, noong August of 2009, Senator Aquino was not a candidate. By May of 2010, he was the president. Ganun kabilis umikot ang politika dito sa Pilipinas. Kaya kailangan natin pag-aralan ng gusto kung ano ba. I mean, my default setting ko is run for re-election sa Senado. So that's what I think about and work towards. Kung ang tanong ninyo, gumigising ako bawat sa umaga at iniisip ko paano gagawin ko para maging presidente kung hindi ko ginagawa yun. Ginagawa ko maraming masyadong trabaho. And you cannot get distracted by these things. No? So the time will come for those decisions to be made. It does not yet come. Medyo may ilang taon pa.
Yes.
Sir, I have an added question.
Oh.
Are you aware of the Facebook page that is titled as Bongbong Marcos Loyalist Official Page?
Yeah. Of course, yeah, kasi nag-aano sila, they communicate also with us. Yeah, I know them. I've met one or two of those that put up the page and that contribute, and I thank them for their support. And kailangan kami naman dito sa public service, we need that kind of support to know that tama yung ginagawa namin at kung ano pa ang amin kailangan gawin, siguro sasabihin din naman sa amin. And it's important to have that, that's why the internet's important. You know, it's important to have that interaction without getting sued for libel and causing all kinds of other problems.
Sir, what are your platforms for this year?
For this year, ang tinatrabaho namin, well, although it's not limited by my committee chairmanships, I'm chairman of the local government committee and I'm also chairman of the public works. So that's why napag-usapan ko yung irrigation dahil tinutulak na that kind of infrastructure be developed. So tuloy-tuloy that's yung public works natin na mas maayos ang pag-implement dahil maraming nag-aabuso din dyan eh. Maraming nagiging problema. Although I think the situation has improved. Sa local government, gusto kong patibayin ang local government because in terms of administrators, chief executives, some of the best talent I have seen was as my time as governor. Ang daming magagaling na governor. Hindi ka pwedeng maging successful na governor kung hindi ka talaga magaling. Kasi hindi mo pwede madaan sa bola eh. Hindi, kailangan inaantay ng tao, sige, sinabi mo yan ang gagawin mo, tingnan nga natin. Kung nagawa mo o hindi, hindi pwede, hindi madadaan sa PR, hindi madadaan sa propaganda. Titignan ng tao, yung sinabi mong gagawin mo, nagawa mo ba o hindi. Ngayon, may problema ako, naayos mo ba o hindi. Simple lang eh. Because nasa grassroots ka eh. At saka, kausap mo, hindi politiko, kausap mo pangkaraniwan na tao. So, I have seen some of the best talent in government. There's a great deal of talent also in the executive departments, mga departments natin. But some of the best talent I've seen in government are in the mayors and in the governors that are serving now. Lalo na yung mga matitinding pangalan na nakikita mo dun sa area nila, talagang sila pa rin ang kinahahangaan as public servants. So, now, we have to tap into that. Kailangan natin gamitin yung talent na yun. And that's why we are now examining the local government code and slowly meron na kami mga amendments na ginawa para patibayin uli yun at bigyan ng karagdagang kakayahan ang local government. Dahil ang tendency natin ngayon ay national government lahat ang gagawa. At sa tingin ko, hindi tama yun. At kung minsan nga lagi ko sinasabi, sa Senado, may mga proposal na ganitong gagawin, itong bagong sistema, new policy, whatever. At sa papel, pag binasa mo, maganda nga ito. Pero ako may experience ako sa local government, sasabihin, hindi ubra yan. It's not going to work. And why won't it work? I will explain to you why it won't work. Because this is not going to happen. Hindi mangyayari. They do not have the capability. They do not have the funding, etc., etc. So those are the things that we have to bring the government closer to the grassroots. Masyado nang kuminsan we are thinking too much about yung homogenizing na pare-pareho. Hindi naman pare-pareho yung lahat ng probinsya, hindi naman pare-pareho ang bawat bayan eh. Lahat yan iba-ibang problema. Lahat yan iba-ibang solusyon. So we have to give that kind of decision-making back to the local government. And pagka meron silang policy, dapat i-implement sa national level. That's why it's important that we give a better voice to the local government. Part of that is what we are doing now is restructuring the SK. malaking bagay yun because para sa akin, merong nagsasabi abolition pero hindi ako papayag. It cannot be. First of all, it's unconstitutional. Nakalagay sa Constitution na may representation ang kabataan. And right now, but the SK, tama nga na, maraming criticism yung SK, pero di ayusin natin. Huwag natin sasabihin, tapos sisisihin mo yung mga bata, kung ano yung mga pagkakamali ng mga bata, tinuro lang ng mga matatanda yan. Hindi naman nila kasalanan. So change the system, change the structure, give the kids an opportunity because the dalawang pangangailangan natin sa mga kabataan. That's what the society needs from its youth. One, we need to have representatives of the youth because the youth have a very specific set of issues. Yung mga iniisip ninyo, hindi iniisip ng ibang tao yan, kundi mga estudyante rin. Diba? For example, all students, you're always thinking about your curriculum, you're thinking about the matriculasyon, you're thinking about the cost that your parents are thinking about the cost. Ngayon, pinag-uusapan yung K plus 12, tapos pinag-uusapan yung pagpalit ng semester, pag-umpisa ng September. All of those things, those are issues that although they are important to the rest of us, they are central to your lives, kayong mga bata. Secondly, we will not be in government forever. You have to come and take over at some point. Kailangan simulan na ninyo, mag-training na kayo, tignan ninyo how government works, what government is good at, what government can do, what government is bad at, and what government cannot do. So that you understand how to solve problems. Yan naman ang trabaho ng dito mga we're basically administering the republic, and that's what we need to do. We have to we sometimes not only present problems, but we have to foresee future problems and try and find a solution before the problems arise. So you have to learn the kids have to learn how to do that. It's not something that you're born with. It's a continuing process of learning. I learn more things now than when I was in school. I am learning. The rate of learning that I go to now is much higher than what I did in school. Dahil ang dami kong kailangan matutunan, ang daming iba't ibang issues, hindi mo naman pwedeng bigyan ng solusyon kung hindi mo maintindihan yung problema. And to understand the problem, you have to have a certain set of facts and stock knowledge na at least nawaan mo yung sektor, alam mo yung mga personalities involved, alam mo yung how it interacts with the government system, all of those things. Those things have to be learned. And the best way to learn them is not in the classroom, although that's useful, it is really hands-on experience. And that's what we are trying to change. We're trying to change the system of the SK or the youth in representation so that it includes not only the SK, kasi kung titignan ninyo yung SK, ano lang yan political sector lang yan Paano yung mga iba? Ilan sa inyo bumoto sa last SK election? Kita mo? Oh, that's right. So all of you are not part of the SK because you're in school malayo kayo hindi naman kayo uuwi. That's why we have tried to include all the other youth sectors na hindi necessarily, pati yung mga out of school, kailangan kasama yan because they also have a very specific set of issues that need to be dealt with. So, kung sumasang-ayon tayo kay Rizal na kayo ang pag-asa ng bansa, kailangan turuan na kayo. You have to train, you have to start the process of understanding of how we can make government work for people. How we can use government not for politics but for service. That's the key. For service, for nation building. Balikan nga natin yung tema na yun. Nation building. It's something we seem to have forgotten. It's something that we should return to, and the young people should be at the forefront of that.
Sir, for our final question, do you have any message to the people who still believe in your family?
Well, again, we thank you for your support, and we always remember that all of that, my family exists for the sole purpose of public service. Kahit papano dyan na kami napunta, dyan kami nanggaling, kung ano man ang meron kami ay dahil sa naging serbisyo namin sa taong bayan. Kaya yan lagi ay aming ipagpapatuloy. Okay?
Sir.
Alright. Maraming
It don't run in our blood. This kind of love's just deep for us. We crave a different kind of buzz. Let me be your ruler. You can call me Queen Bee, and baby I'll rule. I'll rule. Let me live that fantasy.